Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. So today I thought I would bring it back to mental health and wellness, and we would chat about flying anxiety. So as you guys know, I have really bad panic disorder, so flying is quite hard for me. And I actually used to love flying. There was no problem whatsoever until I was on a flight with an ear infection, and it was a long enough flight where my Dramamine had basically just like stopped working, and I had woken up through this flight, and I just felt like this rush of anxiety come over me, and my ears were just like ringing and just in like this immense amount of pain, and to the point where like I can remember how it feels to this day. And then the plane was going like this, and I just had like massive vertigo. And so I thought, okay, I'm gonna take some more medicine. I don't have a drink with me. I'm gonna walk to the back of the cabin, because at this I was like, I could barely speak. I was like so taken over by both being sick and anxious. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna walk to the back of the cabin and get back to like where, you know, they keep all the snacks and everything, and I'm going to like get like a Sprite or, you know, something sparkling to help my stomach, and like a bag of chips or crisps, whatever. And I start to walk to the back of the plane, and it's just absolutely like rocking back and forth as if I'm being like thrown on like 40-foot waves in a boat. And I just get to the back, and I literally like make it to them, and I grab onto like the counter in the back, and I just like fall down. I look up at them, and I'm like, I need help. And that's all I could say. And they were like so unsympathetic. Like, I get it, it's their job like every single day to, you know, to see people who are sick, who don't feel well, like all these things, and like they don't give a shit. And this is like where it started, because I realized once I'm in a plane, I can't get off. Like, that's it. Like, they're not gonna land it because I'm having a panic attack. Like, I'm not having a heart attack, I'm not dying. They're not gonna land the plane for me. Yeah, so long story short, I ended up laying in the emergency exit row, like throwing up for like, I don't know, 3 hours in a full panic attack. There were clearly these like dudes who had paid for the emergency exit row so they could have extra leg room, and I'm just throwing up into a bag next to them while trying to sip on Sprite. Yeah, it was real. It was a real good time. And so anyway, we land, and because we were no longer at the altitude, I started to feel much better. And yeah, that's where it started. That's kind of where it all started. But I have still managed to travel the world and travel like back and forth between London and New York and LA and all the other places that I go. It hasn't stopped me, and that's because I have some really great tools to sort of help me manage a flight. Thank God. Or I'd never go anywhere. The first thing is I have my old iPhone, and I take my old iPhone and I pack it with meditations and my like sleep music and stuff like that. So one of the things that I do advise is making sure you have like all the meditations you sort of like know work for you and calm you down and keep them with you, but then also try to make the experience like as easy as possible for yourself by sort of leaning towards your sleep routine. For me, I try to sleep on every flight, like even if it's just 2 hours or whatever. That's sort of my goal, because if I'm asleep then I don't know, and I can just like pretend it's not happening. Yeah, so that is sort of my number one. So like I will always have my old iPhone packed with all of that stuff. It doesn't even get service to it. Like it does, no one, it's used for nothing other than basically being a glorified iPod at this point. And I do that because then when I do feel sort of calm and ready, I can switch over to my normal working iPhone, and I can log onto the Wi-Fi if I want to, or I can listen to my Spotify saved songs, things like that. So basically I kind of keep it like 2 different functions between the 2 phones. This one, no one's gonna bother me on. I'm not gonna have any like messages that come through that stress me out. Because even like once you're in a heightened state of anxiety, like the smallest things can just be like for blowing up your brain. So I just avoid that by basically sticking to that. And I put on this one meditation by Beck's Life, who I will link in the comment box, because she's honestly like saved my life with one of her meditations. The next thing is also like know your body when it comes to flying. For me, takeoff is the hardest time. Like it's when I'm sort of like letting go and we go up and I'm sort of like, oh God, I'm in God's hands now. Oh, I don't like this. Like I have to let go of all control, because once we're up there, like I have no control. I have no control what happens in the plane, no control over, you know, what happens to my body, what happens, you know what I mean? Like there's like the amount of things that I can now control are gone. So yeah, I just have to accept it. So I'm always very prepared for takeoff, because that's sort of the roughest part for me. And I ensure that I am sat next to someone I know, or someone who seems very nice. And I always tell people around me, if I'm sat with strangers, like, look, just so you know, I have really bad flying anxiety. Sometimes I feel a bit sick, and I just want you to be aware of that and see if I'm like not coping well, just be nice to me. And they're usually really receptive and really, really kind. I've had people before be like, do you throw up ever? And I'm like, well, no, not generally. I've only thrown up once on a plane, but I just want to prepare you for all outcomes. And I've had people ask to move because they're like, if you throw up, I'll throw up. So I'm like, okay, cool. But then I end up with like really nice, loving, motherly figures, or like nurses sat next to me, and it's been fantastic. So I can't really complain. I do think it's great to sort of like have someone knowing. Generally, this is why I like to fly with people, and it just sort of makes your life easier. The other thing is I always go for the window seat, and the reason why is because when I feel sick on a plane, I start to feel really dizzy, and it kind of gives me a bit of motion sickness. And when I can stare at the wing, it allows me to sort of navigate what the plane's doing. If I look forward, I'm just sort of confused when the plane's like this. It's like my brain and my body don't sort of register together what's happening. So I get sort of like confused. So it's better if I look at the wing, because then like I can see where the horizon is, and I can see that we're doing this. And that is a lot easier for me to register. And that helps me with motion sickness, which then decreases my anxiety immensely. Very cautious about checking in, ensuring where my seat is, and then if something happens where my seat gets moved, I just go and talk to the people who work at the airline, and I explain the situation, and they will always pretty much give me a different seat, which is fantastic. As we were talking about our sleep rituals and sort of bringing them onto the plane to help us feel more calm and comfortable, I wear this eye mask to sleep, and it's literally like full-on blackout. Like you cannot see anything, and I do recommend them. Oh, the tag is off, or the little thing is off. Mindfold, it's called, the Mindfold eye mask, and it is amazing. Honestly, you can't see a single thing, and I do love that. So between that and having like my normal sleep sounds, I can kind of like find a way to imagine that I'm just in my bed going to sleep. None of this is happening out there. Something else that I do that some of you are gonna be like, are you joking? Is I like love crystals. I carry crystals with me, and I always fly with crystals. I try to bring like ones that feel grounding, ones that are like throat opening, ones that are for your heart, just to sort of give myself that extra, like, I don't know, push of relaxation or just comfort. Now, it might be complete bullshit and crystals may not work. I have no idea, but the idea of just even having something in my hand that I'm clutching onto and sort of like playing with and rubbing, it makes me feel much better. And that might just be because your anxiety is like then being sort of manifested into this like motion. And that's quite nice. And I do end up usually like grabbing the hand of the person next to me once I feel we're off the ground, and I'm like, whew, and by the time we level off, I'm like, all right, I'm good, we're fine. Those are sort of the things that I lean towards. Now, when you're about to go onto the flight, make sure that you have, you know, all of your stuff ready. Make sure it's easy to get your mask out. Make sure it's easy to have your crystals with you. Make sure, you know, this is set up with headphones, and ideally even your other phone is set up with headphones, so you don't have to fuss or like put your head down and lean forward, because that's also like a confusing motion. It's easy to get dizzy that way. Just make sure that you are fully ready for it. When you're flying, there's this feeling of weightlessness, right? And I hate that feeling. Absolutely hate that feeling. So what I do is I leave my backpack, which usually has my computer and a few other sort of heavy items. I leave it underneath my seat. The reason is when we take off and we start to feel that weightlessness, I instead have my feet sort of grounded under something kind of heavy, and therefore the bag is sort of weighing down my feet. It makes me feel that I'm more grounded and not completely weightless and just like up in the air. And that actually is really, really useful. The other thing is they make these sort of like bean bag like things that you can put on your lap, and they sort of just like, I don't know, it's sort of like feeling like there's like a nice little puppy in your lap. That's like the best way I could describe it. So it's very soothing for people. I don't actually have one of those, but I have seen people use them. I have talked to other people who have anxiety who fly with those, and apparently they work really well. I don't have one, but I do suggest that you give it a try. Along with being prepared with everything else, I also make sure that I have 2 different bottles of water right in the pocket of the seat. And the reason is because you get really dehydrated flying, and also if your tummy feels a bit not so good, then it's good to have a normal water and a sparkling water, and like kind of let the bubbles do their magic when it comes to your belly not feeling so great. And just sort of being prepared for that. But also, if you decide to take medicine on your flight, which I generally do, I generally take a motion sickness medicine and an anti-anxiety, which does sound like a lot of meds, which can explain some of the weird sort of ways I've found myself sleeping, and some of the reactions I've had when air hostess have like woken me up and asked me if I like wanted a drink or something. I do tend to fly with taking medicine. It's not so strong that I can't wake up and then find like where my connecting flight is and stuff like that. It's just enough to sort of take the edge off the flight. But it does help if you have your water and everything organized and those are in your pockets, so then you can just take them when you need them, or take them before you take off. So then, you know, I generally take it when I get onto the plane, because it's still about a half hour between when you get onto the plane and when you take off, once everyone gets on and everything, or even just when they start boarding, I take it. So I think that really helps me a lot. These are sort of my main tricks of getting through a flight. I am such a control freak that it's really hard for me to let go and just let the flight take me where it may. It is hard. I think it is hard, and I think it can feel quite debilitating. So I hope these help you, and if you guys have any more, please pop them below. I love to hear some of your suggestions. I know sometimes your suggestions help out other people reading the comments, and I love that because it makes it feel like it's a community here, which is exactly what I want. I want everyone to know that you can still live your dreams and have anxiety. You can still conquer the world and have anxiety. You know, this may be something that we have been born with or cursed with, or you know, or gotten enough trauma to have through our lives. But it doesn't need to stop you from living a really full and happy life, even if at times it really feels like it's going to. So if there's any more questions or anything else you guys want to know about my flying essentials and habits, please just comment below. I'll answer all of them, and yeah. Otherwise, have a great day, and also if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and if you like me and my channel, subscribe.